Hey, girl. Hey. So I think we need to talk about that hose moving back and forth on your butthole.
Oh my gosh. So, dear listeners, we were just in the middle of a conversation about
Oh
bidets.
God. Oh God. I forgot to hit record. I forgot to hit record. I forgot to hit
So, we're not
record.
recording at all? You're not recording the other
Oh,
record?
oh, we're not recording the secondary record. Dear listeners,
Oh,
I
okay.
apologize. I apologize. I forgot to hit secondary record so that we don't ever have a crazy thing happen again.
I
Go on,
mean,
Maim. I
Oh,
apologize.
oh yeah, no, we were just talking about hoses on our butts because we were talking about the glorious beauty of bidets.
Is that right? Is that.
Okay.
Oh, bidets. I thought you said of the days. I'm
What?
like, what are you
We
talking
were
about
just
of
talking
the
about
days? We
bidets.
were talking about
I even
bidets, but I got
I even
completely
used
confused.
alliteration. I was like,
You
beauty of
did. You
bidets. Like,
did. Look, it has been a long day of
oh, who are you
stupid.
telling?
Oh,
I,
girl,
I
I'm in charge of COVID protocols now for my department.
I'm very sorry about
Like they due to the recent surge, supervisors and managers will now be in charge of telling people when they can leave and come back for COVID.
Oh wow. Are you using the 5-day guidelines or the 10-day
Oh,
guidelines?
the 5 day. We got to get
Yeah.
these people back to work.
Yes, spoken like the CDC.
No, I actually was like, we had one that was a little questionable day, and I was like, because her kids both got sick
Oh
at two
lord.
different times. She's vaccinated but hasn't had her booster, and we're like trying to read the guidelines, and my boss and I are like, um. She just got tested. Do you want her back yet? He's like, I don't. Do you? I was like, I not particularly. How about we wait till she gets that test back? Okay. So I texted. I was like, my manager says you can't come back until you get this test. Notice I didn't put my name in
Of
that.
course not.
No,
No, not
I am
you.
not
Why would you ever
executive
do
fish
that?
yet.
That's what I tell all of my clients. Never accept the blame. Always blame something
Never,
else.
always blame
Always.
somebody else.
Even if it's just technology in general. Just blame
Exactly.
anything else.
Blame COVID.
Blame
Blame COVID.
Oh man, that's going to be a Tony Award winning musical in 10 years.
God.
I thought I was done. Here comes Omicron.
I'm glad
Sorry.
Sondheim passed away before that one happened. Let me just tell you.
I want to meet her so bad, but we have to wait 10 days.
Speaking of musicals, have you watched Encanto yet?
I mean, since we talked yesterday. No.
Since we talked yesterday,
Strangely enough, I haven't watched.
dear listeners, I asked Mame yesterday if she'd watched Encanto, and she was like, "No, I'm planning on watching it in about 3 months."
That's not
So,
what I said.
well, that's
I
what
just said,
translates to.
I just did. I mean, remember, I have limited evening time, right? Like in the time that I'm not either doing this or making costumes and dresses and things
Girl,
like that.
what do you do during work?
I have client facing meetings all day, every day.
Not all day.
Uh, I actually just ran through a process with my manager, who literally was like, "Oh, so so 27 out of 40 hours you're actually in front of clients. So add to it the lunch break we get and the team meetings that we have. And yes, most of my day is occupied by clients."
Well,
Which,
that's cute.
by the way,
Uh
today
huh.
was wild. My first client, I'm not going to get into details, but for some reason she started crying. And then by the end of the day, my other client was so stressed out. He just popped an Adderall like right there on the call. He was like, I need another Adderall. I was like, what?
What do you do? Like, what do you do that is this important? Like,
I mean, I mean,
you don't have to get into it here as we
I
both
don't even know. I don't even know at this point.
look.
I
I
am so lost
understand.
right
I
now. I'm so
understand. I
by the end of
have
the day though, when he popped the Adderall, I was like, yep, I wish I was doing that too, based
God.
on my day.
Dear listeners, this brings up an interesting point. We're creating a new podcast.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes, we are. Whenever we finally record it.
We're doing it Sunday.
We're recording it on Sunday, so it is going to be Where's Dorothy?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a Golden Palace, that show that happened, which was the sequel to Golden Girls. And it's called Where's Dorothy because Arthur
you're going to say that the
there.
Entire time. You'll say that to yourself the entire time.
Well, and apparently Arthur was not nice on the set of Dorothy. On the set of Dorothy. Apologize. On the set of Golden Girls.
She's not been nice on any of her sets. B. Arthur was not a nice person.
Except for the gay people.
Well, no. Let me finish what I was going to say.
Okay.
B. Arthur was not a nice person in professional settings.
Okay.
Like,
you know who else was not a nice person? That there was, if you have not read the Guardian interview with Christine Baranski yet, you really should. They interviewed her because she's in the new version, the American version of Downton Abbey.
I'm sorry, the what?
The American version of Downton Abbey. It starts on NBC or HBO Max.
They're doing an American Downton Abbey?
Yes, it's called The Gilded Age.
Oh, jeez, no.
Yes, she's the Dowager Countess or whatever of the American version. So
why do we need to have an American version of Downton Abbey?
To let Christine Baranski just eat up scenes. Anyway, apparently Sybil Shepherd was a total B to her during Sybil because she won the Emmy and Sybil got nothing.
I mean, she got nothing because she wasn't a good actress.
But dear, if you tell two friends and they two friends and so on and so on and so on.
I mean, like that's
dear
like
listeners.
That's like her getting mad at Bruce Willis for him winning the Emmy the year that they did Moonlighting. Like,
oh no, she got mad at Bruce Willis because Bruce Willis was a cock, and not in a good way. Like he was gross toward her. Is whatever. If you ever want to watch a little bit of Comic Gold, watch her at his roast. I don't like those celebrity roasts very often, but that one, fantastic.
What was that one celebrity roast where he says, I wouldn't have sex with you with B. Arthur's dick? That was, I can't remember who it was at this point, who they were doing the roast on. But B. Arthur was there in the audience.
Was there. Yeah. No, she was a roaster.
Yeah, like she was there and she like held up that liver spotted hand like,
I remember that, but I can't remember who it was about.
It burned that little clip of video burned itself on my brain for the rest of my life.
And it was that obnoxious Italian guy too, wasn't it?
Jeffrey, yeah, that Jeffrey guy.
Yeah,
I don't remember that guy's last name. That's like all he does though is roast. I mean, that's just like it's weird that Comedy Central has made an entire group of people that are known for that.
Might I refer you to MTV's Real World Road Rules Challenge, where they made an entire series out of that.
I mean, but here's what's really funny about that, right?
What's funny? It's still going on?
Yeah.
I know. That's not funny. That's sad.
But it's funny to me because it's not the show itself. The concept is still very sad. It's funny to me, though, that they have now like run out of people. And so now they're putting the old people back together again.
Of course.
And it's weird because I started watching the last one and I was like, wait, that person was on Real World like 20 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Like, why are they back? What is happening that they're back?
So can you name the one person from Road Rules or Real World that I would have had sex with?
Oh my gosh, like just the one?
There's only one that I really ever found hot. Don't say Pedro.
No, I was gonna say Pedro. Was it?
Let's see.
Gosh, I'm kind of. Well, like my real world knowledge kind of stopped at around 5.
That's fine. It's include Road Rules in there too. It's real
See,
world.
I didn't watch Real Rules after the first season.
There you go.
The blonde guy?
Huh?
The blonde guy?
No. He wasn't blonde. The skater one, Theo.
Of course.
Yeah, girl. Yeah.
Of course.
I've been standing at the edge of that water long as I can remember.
I'm trying to think of who did I find attractive on. I think
Eric Nies.
But the only reason I didn't find Eric Nies attractive until
it's
Nies.
Oh,
I didn't find him attractive though, like really attractive until he hosted the grind.
Dancing, yeah.
No, until he hosted the grind, and I was like, oh. And it really actually has nothing to do with the fact that it was him. It was just that entire environment I was more in love with.
Oh, that buff one that was on Miami.
I don't remember. Miami.
Do you remember the gay one on Miami? David.
I don't remember Miami
the
at
only
all.
Gay. Oh God.
I remember, I literally remember the three that I remember. I remember New York. I remember Los Angeles.
Okay.
And I remember Seattle. Those are the three that I remember. I know I watched other seasons.
That sounds familiar.
I know I watched other seasons, but those are the three that I remember.
It's just because you want to live in Seattle.
No, Seattle was like their first real that's when they started actually putting together crazy people. Because that's the one where the guy that was the closeted homosexual got so mad at this girl for calling him out that he literally ran up to her car, opened up the door, and smacked her, all while the camera's filming it. He literally assaulted her, basically.
Oh,
yeah. But I remember that season. I was like, something has gone off the rails because these people.
I don't remember any of these people.
Seattle. I just remember. I didn't know because I remember at the time that was the first time that I questioned if I really wanted to live in Seattle, because I was like, is it the city that's making them act like this? Because, but then I think for me, I used to love Real World so much, but I think where it lost me was when they started giving them jobs.
Yeah.
Because to me, I was like, nobody wants to.
The thing is, MTV's like, I ain't paying for this. We're tired of paying for this, and we need things happening.
And now we're doing the reunion seasons. Have you watched either one of them yet?
Of course I haven't. Why would I put myself through that?
I want to. I do. I want to, but I feel almost like some part of me is going to die a little bit.
Speaking of some part of you dying a little bit, we have a Patreon.
We do. That's true. We do have a Patreon.
If you go to patreon.com/you slay me, I had to think for a minute which podcast we're doing right now. Dear listeners, that still hasn't changed.
We have 87,000 podcasts. We only live to podcast now. We don't have day jobs, which is a lie. We have
so many day jobs.
Night jobs, day
jobs, blow jobs, head jobs. So I was talking with a couple of my friends. Yes, this is the tea, girl. This is the tea. And they said, and dear listeners, I apologize if you don't like blunt conversations about sex.
Why are you listening to our podcast?
That's probably right. I mean, it is a podcast about Murder, She Wrote, but sometimes it's about sex too. Usually not in the first 13 minutes, but here we are.
No,
so I was talking to one of my friends, and it was he and his boyfriend, and they were like, "Oh, I don't really like hand jobs." We were having a conversation about different sexy things, and
okay,
I don't really like hand jobs. Why? And the other one was like, I don't really like blow jobs. And then my husband and I just kind of looked at him like, how are y'all compatible? Because you gotta. My husband just said, well, I just like my dick touched. It all just kind of feels good.
I can totally see him saying that with his straight face. That deadpan delivery.
Yeah. Yeah, God. Dear listeners, I'm tired again. I'm going to be tired every single one of these episodes.
I mean, it is a weeknight, and we are old.
Let me get a sip of water, and then let's get in this episode. How's that sound to you, girl?
I love it. Sipping that water, drinking the water down. H2O in my hole.
This is season 1, episode 8.
You left me there to do it, so you know it's gonna get weird.
Season 1, episode 8. Hit, Run, and Homicide.
Boom, boom, boom.
So this time, what'd you say?
This episode.
It's such a mess. Speaking of this, before we get into this episode, is your mom is Mama Maim ready for the next snow that's gonna happen on Friday?
I have to check with her because she didn't even know about this last snow until I reached out to her.
In the Triangle area, we're expected to get up to 8 inches, somewhere between 5 and 8 inches, which is a grinder 9 inches.
Yes. A grinder 9 inches is never 8 inches.
That's very true. But States was expected to get 2.5 inches, which is a grinder 8 inches.
Yeah. I love. It's always so funny when like the snow bypasses the place closer to the mountains when it's on its way to you. Yeah, I'm always weather's so weird sometimes.
It is. But we're like it'll be here for a day, and then Sunday it's supposed to be up above 40, so it's all just gonna go.
Of course,
turn gross real fast. So we're in Cabot Cove.
Speaking of gross things, this episode,
I didn't think it was gross. A little poorly written. It's not as gross as that episode of. Oh
Lord, let's not. Baking sugar.
Women. Yeah. I was baking sugar was in my brain. I was like, no, get out. The show is designing women. Baking sugar's our pod.
I think one of the funniest parts of this entire episode that it was so good that they included in a little like clip at the beginning is when the guy's like, I must be some kind of schizoid.
I don't watch those.
I don't normally watch them, but when I rewatched it,
don't lie to me. You eat television with a little plastic spoon.
I don't always watch those.
Not even a plastic spoon. One of those little wooden ones that came in like the elementary school ice cream that we made little skateboards out of.
I skip over those normally, but this particular time, I was watching the last episode and I just didn't like go to the next episode.
Speaking of that. Elementary school, I've got a question for you. A very important question.
Sure.
Dear listeners, the next sentence I'm going to say has a triggering word in it. Okay. When was the first time you were called fag?
That was fourth grade in
Fourth? Oh, wow, that's early.
Yeah, Mrs. Halp's class.
Ooh.
Yep.
Oh, anybody I know? I had to because I was in the class.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Oh, sure.
Message me their name, and I'll tell you.
It's actually not going to be that complicated because the first person to ever call me that, their teacher was a former teacher of mine. And
their teacher.
Yeah, their
mother.
Person who called me. Yeah, their mother. Yeah. The mother was also a teacher at the school because our teacher, Mrs. Hall, went and spoke to her about that. So, which didn't technically make my life any better. It actually made it a bit worse. But, yeah.
Oh.
So you could say that I probably needed a good coping mechanism after that.
Does that give me a hint of the name?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good. There we go. Yeah. That's what I thought. That's not who did it to me. Mine was in 7th grade.
Oh wow. You got three additional years.
Three additional years, or I just didn't pay attention. Like, because in 4th grade. I mean, I may have been called that in 4th grade, but no, I didn't because that was his stepmother, and his actual mother worked at the hospital and was friends with my mom. We're at Cabot Cove.
The listeners are like, they have this weird thing of going into dark territory every once in a while, and then they're just back into normal.
Look, we've already self-actualized this and just like pushed it out of ourselves into the world like the big gay queens we are.
And that salad you ate earlier.
Oh, God, that thing is still running to me. If I have to run out, dear listeners, you'll just
I'll
hear the
serenade
farts.
you. I'll make up a song about wherever we stop at in the podcast.
And Jessica's riding her bike. We're in Cabot Cove, and Jessica's riding bike. This season 1, episode 8, hit run to Homicide.
I love this little moment, the little panning of her riding the bicycle. Oh,
yes.
So
And
gross.
then we go into town, which I can't exactly figure out how big town is because there's like a port, then there's a mile on either side, and there's like town again. And like there's no town around the train station or the hospital. There's just these gap, and then there's the port that's town, and like I don't understand this, but apparently Maine is a very special place.
Like sometimes the town looks just like a port, and then sometimes the town looks like a traditional American downtown, but you don't actually see the downtown anywhere near the port part. So you're like,
Well,
how
we find
large
out
is
we
this
find out
place?
it's a mile away.
Yeah.
Along a 2-lane street through some woods up a hill.
Girl,
there are no hills. We'll get to that in a minute.
when he said 2 miles, I was like, oh, okay. And then they go to that next scene. I'm like, wait a minute.
There's a mountain. Why is there a mountain at the shore? Anyway.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. So Daniel's not paying attention. He's riding his bike as well.
Oh, goofy Daniel and your technology.
And we find out he's an inventor. He's got this little thing, this little invention that like measures how fast he's going, his blood pressure and his pulse.
I mean,
it
technically,
doesn't
it was
work right.
It was larger than an iPad. It was a very large device.
It was a box. It was a box. It very much looked like a remote control used later in the episode, just with different lights. Lights and things. So we find out that there's a Founders Day picnic.
Yes.
And Jessica is giving a speech about the founding fathers of Cabot Cove.
Yes, because there's nothing problematic about that.
Well, no, because there were no Native Americans there.
No.
They were never that far north. What are you talking about?
No,
they were already killed by the Vikings. What? I don't know what I'm dear listeners, I'm lying.
Where are you going with this? Where did the Vikings come into this?
Because they came there, I'm sure.
They didn't go to Cabot Cove.
There's some thought that they came all the way to Quebec, and if they came to Quebec, they definitely came down to Maine. Yeah.
That means I might have some Viking blood in me? Ooh.
Girl, at least you have before. Why?
Have I?
I don't know. Probably. I've seen your ex.
Oh, whatever. That's the Scots-Irish.
And that definitely has Viking in it.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Awesome.
Yeah.
That means I can claim Thor as a relative. Or something. I don't know.
I try so hard to keep Marvel out.
I try to say goodbye and I joke. Try to walk away and I stumble.
I used to have this joke that my downstairs looked like her hair.
Oh my God.
I just pulled down my pants and Basic Ray starts singing. And that is racist now that I think about it.
I'm glad you said it because I didn't want to say that.
This is 16-year-old me. Not really. Look, dear listeners, I just had an epiphany and I apologize to the only black person I see in the room.
Oh, is Macy Gray here?
Maim, we're at the picnic now.
Yeah, the picnic. And boy, howdy, is it a nice picnic in the Maine area.
We find out that the founding father was a pirate, but also sided with the Brits.
What? They can't talk about that. That's not going to work.
No. Oh, no, something's happening, Maim. Something's happening. It's a very slow car chase. There's a man running, a very old man, and a car, a old station wagon, is very slowly coming down a hill behind him.
They better be
Like,
careful. I hope the car doesn't knock over the lobster stew.
did you see the woman? There's this great scene of this woman with hair number 7 in a baseball cap flailing in front of this car.
Yes. Yes.
Oh no, this man, he's climbing, he's backed into a corner against the fence behind the baseball field. Oh no, he's climbing up. Oh no, he falls on top of the car and is hit.
He never was hit by the car.
No, he was not. He just sort of flails on top of it. The car drives off.
What? The car just drive off? It just left on its own?
There was no driver. We see that. We see there's no driver.
It's like magic.
It's like magic? A Tesla.
Oh, that's true, actually.
Yeah.
So this episode could actually be redone now as a 2-hour suspense thriller with a Tesla.
Our killer suddenly, Elon Musk.
I can't wait for the day that he actually does sound like that. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing.
God, remember when he dated Grimes?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Good.
And they had a baby.
Did they?
Yes.
They had a babbity?
You should go look up that child's name. It will be interesting.
I'm good. Hey, Google. Okay, Google. Is it going to respond? There we go. What is Grimes' baby's name? Piece of shit's not even responding to me.
Oh man, I was so excited for a moment. I was like, "Oh wow, we're gonna have a cool moment here."
Okay, hold on here. Let's. What is Grimes' baby's name?
Grimes' child is Xera she.
Oh, and it's spelled like that. Oh. But dear listener, my left eye's twitching now. Oh, God. So Amos the sheriff shows up.
Amos, yay!
Tom Bosley.
I love Tom Bosley in every episode.
And Ethan's like, well, that car didn't have no driver, Sheriff. I don't know why.
Ethan, you must be crazy.
So now
Were you drinking? Were you drinking, Ethan?
Did you have that whole 6-pack? That whole 6-pack? God, I need a 6-pack. So now we're at the hospital.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And we find out the guy was there to see David O'Brien, who we met earlier. He's the inventor.
Oh, okay.
And the man's name is Mr. Woodley.
That's a probable name. Yeah.
I mean, I wrote down Mr. Whitley at first. I must have been thinking about a different world. It's a different world. Ooh, the way you come from.
Focus.
Here's a chance to make it.
Oh my God.
I love that show so much.
Maybe that's to be a future podcast.
Oh my God.
Like
no, that goes real bad real fast. Like
I know.
Like it
You mean like when they start introducing all of the extra new characters?
Yes. Oh God. And I never really liked Wayne. Like when he and Whitley actually start getting it on, that's when it starts getting bad. That's to me.
Well, because he stops being the nerd, right? Like he has like a Stephen Urkel moment, and it's like, oh, so we're just supposed to think of Dwayne Wayne now as a sex symbol kind of character.
Do you remember back in elementary school and I guess early high school when our local channel of WSOC TV would put on a news broadcast over Hanging with Mr. Cooper because the episode was just too much for us to handle?
Yes, I remember those days. I didn't understand. It took me the longest time to understand why we were getting interruptions.
Yeah. So we find out Daniel used to work for Mr. Woodley. And his partner is due to show up tomorrow.
Oh, good.
Yes. And Amos asked, well, did you see who drove the car? And the man was like, well, you may think this is strange, Mr. Sheriff. But I saw no one driving that car.
So that's now 2 people that have confirmed.
Ghost peoples.
So no driver confirmed by a drunk and a sober person. So
yes. Well, he may have been drunk too. You don't know that.
That's true, actually. Well, I mean, not running the way he did. He was running pretty fast.
So no, he was. He was kind of
flailing,
flancing along. Yeah, he was definitely flailing. I don't know what the wordle is for that.
He was basically running the way I run.
God, that is the truth, girl. I remember you in elementary school just running around the track. Oh, it's like that episode of Ab Fab where the drag queen and the other person are running with Patsy and Eddie. And they're like, why are we running? I don't know. I was just caught up in the drama of it all.
That's my life right there.
God.
That's why I'm always flailing.
So now we're at Daniel's house, and dear listeners, that fart noise was not a fart noise. My leg actually slipped across the chair leg, if you heard it. I'll be honest with you. If it's
Nobody
fart noise,
heard that. I didn't hear anything.
You never know. This mic's a little sensitive. It's my sensitive mic. Hey, Mike, you sensitive.
I think it's bordering on harassment.
I already paid for it. So
Lord.
So we're at Daniel's and we meet Katie Simmons.
Yes. Oh, beloved Katie.
This polite little woman, and Jessica brings her a pie.
Well, I mean, what else are you supposed to bring?
That she's gonna put in the refrigerator when that shit's been baked. Like, what are you doing with this? Why are you putting in the refrigerator? This pie.
Hey,
pie.
Hey, it's Cabot Cove rules.
I don't trust these white Protestants, is what I'm getting at this.
Like I said, Cabot Cove rules. I didn't say it was the best way. I just said it's their way.
Oh, God. So then we meet Tony.
Mm-hmm.
And Leslie.
Oh, Leslie's going to be our person. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Well, she's the one that did it. Tony is Daniel's nephew. Now, Tony looked really familiar to me, so I had to Google who he was.
Okay.
Do you know who he is? And do you know why he looks so familiar to me?
I mean, he just looked like a lot of the actors from the 80s. No, what was he?
His face is very identical to someone else's, you know.
Wait, what?
Yes. He is the son of the lead actor of Green Acres. Yeah, there you go. And now you see that face.
Up.
Just make that face old.
Are you kidding?
Nope.
Eddie Arnold?
Yep. Wait,
whoa.
Is that his name, Eddie Arnold?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no, Eddie Albert.
Eddie Albert, that's it.
I know Eddie something.
It's Eddie's, whatever. Yeah, it's something.
Whatever. Oh, that's
anyway,
crazy.
So that's why I couldn't place. I was like, pause this episode. Who is this person? And I was like, oh, it's not him that's familiar. It's his dad who he looks
crazy.
Exactly like.
Trying to get out of his dad's shadow, I guess.
Yeah. Well, we found out. Leslie.
That was one of the funniest things you've ever
done. Breathe in. Leslie needs to go to Portland. She's a saleswoman. Oh, God. Whew. Jesus Christ.
I'm crying. Oh, can't.
Okay.
Oh, man.
So now we're in Doctor Who's workshop.
Yes, Doctor Who's workshop.
And what's her name? I've got Kay. What's her actual name? Katie.
Yeah.
Katie wants to take Daniel with her to Memphis.
Which sounds like a
like a sex thing.
What?
Well, Jess is like, Daniel, your friend has been hurt.
What friend, Jess?
Charles Woodley.
Woodley. Oh.
That you forget the line. I want to hang him.
I know.
Next page.
You know, let's just like let's cast all the suspicions right now. Immediately.
Yep. So we're at the port.
Mm-hmm.
And a man arrives.
Finally, a man.
And he's looking for a taxi. God, his southern accent is just...
I was obsessed. I was like, who is this gentleman? Where did they find him? Because everything that's happening right now is a problem.
And Ethan's like, well, you know, if you're looking for a taxi, it's 2 miles that way at the train station.
2 miles.
Well, I'm trying to go to the hospital. Oh, well, that's good for you. That's 1 mile that way.
Yep.
Like, who designed this city? Like what it's not like the port of Boston where it's like this huge thing. This is like a rinky-dink fishing port. What
It is.
What's
apparently I mean, especially when they cut to the next scene. Oh boy.
So this man starts walking up this curvy hilled path.
Not starts. We cut to the man walking.
We cut to him walking up this curvy hilled path.
Because apparently a 15-minute 1 mile walk is a very daunting prospect.
Yes. And there's like rocky curves, right? Like I don't. Anyway.
Oh,
So suddenly that station wagon, it's at the side of the road and it speeds up. It goes a little faster this time, and it kills that man dead.
Somebody definitely watched the movie Christine before writing this episode.
Yeah.
One thing that bothered me so much in this scene, just this particular scene, is so it's a 2-lane road. One of the lanes is a rocky cliffside. The other lane is full of trees. If I was trying to get away from a car that's speeding quickly towards me,
just go into the trees.
What? Why would you go toward the rocky cliffside?
Well, so we can die. So he can die, Maim.
And then his reaction just before the car hit him, he was like, "Oh!"
like he could have even stayed there for a second,
and
then jumped to the side, and the car's gonna hit the thing and bust.
He was given adequate time to do both of those things.
Yeah, dear listeners, it was moving fast, but not that fast because it's a curvy road, and cars can't go that fast on a curvy road.
And he darted off to the other side of the road, so it wasn't even like it was on the same side of the road, so the car had to curve in to actually murder.
So Ethan comes over to Jess's house, is like, Jess, have you heard? That man that man from Boston's dead.
Woodley?
Why does he have a southern accent?
Woodley?
No, not Woodley. Meryl's dead.
Who's that?
Woodley's what voice is this? She's British. Woodley's.
Don't know. I just wanted to do a voice too.
You can do voice. I'm sorry, I shouldn't voice shame you.
No, it's okay. I do it all the time.
Oh, first time in 4th grade, wasn't it?
It was. Like, great. Found out. Dang it.
Oh, God. I've got a hole in these shorts and my balls are getting ready to fall out. So I just felt down there. I was like, that's not shorts. Anyway, where are we at here?
The more we talk, the more I understand that review that said we sounded like we were drunk.
Well, that wasn't even for this podcast, though.
I know. I'm just saying, like, the more I think about it, sometimes I'm like, oh, wait, it does sound like that.
So we find out that the station wagon was heading north on a country road because Ethan was talking to Amos.
Yeah.
And Ethan's like, Amos needs your help, Jess.
How do you know Amos needs my help?
Better. He constantly clears his throat, is what? Yes, he's constantly clearing his throat. I'm not going to keep going. Woman, you've played checkers with that man.
I know. Checkers, people. Checkers.
Well. So Jessica corners Amos. And she's like, well, you need to ask Woodley about Daniel and ask about remote control cars.
Mm-hmm.
And Amos like, come on, Jess, you come on with me and we'll start talking to some people. Well, now we're at Daniel's.
Oh, Daniel. I thought they go to the hospital.
Or no, we're still talking. We find out that Daniel designed a remote control car.
Yeah.
And Amos is like, I'm not going to stop till I find that car.
Which, that's a pretty reasonable thing for a police officer to say.
Yeah. Now we pan to a random cookout that Amos is having. He's not famous. It's Daniel. It's Daniel.
It's not random because remember the fiancés. He's meeting the fiancé for the first time.
That's right. They're meeting fiancé Leslie. And Jess was like, well, why did this remote control car never happen that you developed? Cost. It all comes down to cost. Nobody wants to pay the cost.
Oh, thank you, Ms. O'Hara.
The O'Hara, like Scarlett O'Hara?
Kathleen.
Oh, Kathleen. Oh, okay. Don't you mean Catherine O'Hara?
I don't know. I'm tired.
Okay, well. Daniel is adamant that he did not call Woodley.
Yes, which is starting to make Daniel seem a little bit crazy.
Just a little bit. A little scotch nutso. Schizoid even.
Schizoid. That word.
I feel like that's an offensive phrase, but
I don't even think it's a real phrase. I think it's just a phrase, like it's his way of saying schizophrenic, but like at the same time, that's not even what we're talking about right now.
I've got a question. Back in the 80s and 90s, did you avoid the Noid?
Oh, the Noid was in my mouth a lot.
Explains so much.
Domino's
was crap back then.
It was, but it's
good now. Domino's is my one of choice.
No, I love Domino's too. Actually, Domino's actually. Do you remember? Summertime pizza? That one you used to take home and bake.
No.
Oh, do you remember?
Where was that?
It was in the Kmart shopping center complex.
The old one or the new one?
No, the old one.
Oh,
the new one. The new one. I guess
the one by the mall.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, oh wait, there was an old Kmart.
Yeah. There was one in West. Yeah.
Way out in the boonies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, it was actually like one of the first places where like they make the pizza, you take it home and you bake it. It was actually pretty good.
Girl, here we're talking about the old and the new Kmart. And ain't neither one of them exist.
I worked at Kmart for a summer.
I remember.
Those are some of the best naps I ever had in my life.
Girl, you remember I used to work at the Dollar Tree.
I remember.
It was the best job I ever had. If I could make the money I make now working at Dollar Tree, Lord knows. Lord knows.
You're the reason it's $1.25 now.
I never stole nothing except for a Shasta.
Not a Shasta, girl.
Then I would come in with my 33 cents that next day and pay for it.
Lord, you can tell we're hospital kids talking about Shasta.
Girl, it was good. Enough. Oh, God. So Jessica calls the operator.
Yes.
And illegally gets the phone numbers
Yes.
that were called from Daniel's number in the past week.
Yeah, so this is Jessica committing more crimes because
yes, this one's federal.
Yep.
She goes back and starts talking to Katie, and she's like, "These are the numbers. These are the numbers that were called." And Katie's like, "Well, the first one is Tony's number, bank in Boston."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the second one.
What about the second one?
It's Woodley's private office line.
What?
Yep.
Oh no. So.
Oh yeah.
So he's been lying about calling him this whole time?
Why would he lie?
I don't know.
Well, you find out that Woodley tried to keep Daniel's designs.
Oh.
And Daniel won the lawsuit. Like, it was a lawsuit that made him broke. It broketed him down.
It not broketed him.
We also find out that Katie loves him.
Yes.
Like they do in Korea with the little
old
cross.
School Blanche Devereaux love.
No, it's not just the
lust.
It's not lust.
It's more like it's like a Rose Island kind of love.
It probably. You can watch our new podcast.
There you go. I was trying to give a little shoehorn there.
Yeah, it didn't work very well. So Daniel comes running over and shows off his new invention. It's an ultrasonic thing to get aphids off the roses.
Yes.
And it tracks a whole bunch of barking dogs that aren't barking.
We're not supposed to be looking at it that closely.
It's not even that closely. It's a gang of dogs. They just come and sniff around the bush. They are not barking.
They're not barking. But man, they wanted whatever was around that bush. I think it was probably, what do you think, like meat? You think they did meat or peanut butter?
Probably peanut butter.
Peanut butter, yeah.
Peanut butter, peanut butter, peanut butter. Oh, that RuPaul will get me.
Yep. Like, there goes our show. I guess we'll be paying a few $1,000s each. And it was nice knowing you all, audience. RuPaul is a dictator, and he has officially closed our podcast.
Oh, goodness. So we are still at Daniel's.
Mm-hmm.
And it's later on in the evening. And we find out that Amos can't find the car, that Ethan and Tony were out searching everywhere for this car.
Yep.
He thinks it was taken away on a moving van.
Makes sense.
Jess was like, "Hey, did you randomly look in this field by the Gentry farm that only I know about?"
Well, no. I wish you had told us about that before.
There's so many ways to enter, on foot. Did you know about this? I pass by it all the time on my bike.
I didn't know, Jessica. I don't really ride my bike out there that much, so I wasn't as familiar.
Oh, well, you should start. It's very good for your health. Actually, no, it's because she jogs out there. That's right. It's because she jogs out there.
She jogs in that beautiful velour suit.
Jesus Christ. What is this place? What is this place?
It's heaven. It's called heaven.
Are people not afraid of, like, because there's so many rocks and hills and shit, are they not afraid of falling and dying?
That's why she wears
cars just attacking them?
That's why she wears the velour, because it's absorbent.
I guess it's probably to get the little ship from Cocoon to save her. Is that what happens?
No, let's not invoke Cocoon in this.
I've never seen that movie.
What?
I know.
Your mom never made you watch that movie? Like, ever? You never had to sit and watch Cocoon?
No.
Man, and back in the day, it was on HBO so much.
So Jessica's talking to Amos, and he's like, "I'm not going to go look. Do you mind if I do?" Of course. Go and look.
Please, by all means.
God. So now we're in this farmland. And Jessica's ridden her bike. She puts her bike. Somebody is like putting a light into her eye to get her all confused. It's that whole mirror with some light, and it's a gloved hand, and it's just enough to. Oh, my brain is swollen. I can't possibly ride this bike anymore. I need to leave it here.
Oh man.
God.
Yeah, that part bothered me a lot because
what about the part that's coming up where she finds the car
and
gets into the damn car?
I love this. I love that they turn this into a humorous part. Like I just think, what?
Well, hold on. There's a van that appears.
Not a van. Oh, it's the 80s, so you know that's bad.
Yeah. It was probably off of some hoods.
Designing women throwback.
Ugh. But Jess gets into the car like an idiot.
She's investigating it. She's trying to figure out what's going on.
And then somebody you see in the van, somebody locks the door, starts the car, and goes on the slowest chase ever. I fast forwarded on my second thing just to see how long the stupid thing took. It took 3 minutes to get from where they were up top. And it is funny, like she's passing people. Ethan sees her and gets behind her and chase them down. And she's like waving. And then she's like, oh, bother, I can't do anything. Oh, bother, you could still press the brakes.
I mean, we could have, it was a nice little tour of Cabot Cove, though. Wasn't it? I mean, anyway. we kind of got to see it. You know what's funny, though? So, I don't know about you. We actually had talked about this a few podcasts before, maybe either on or off microphone. But that van with that little control panel gave me Midnight Madness vibes.
Oh, yeah, it did. Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
it did.
When they put the marshmallows inside of the control panel. Oh, sorry, the audience.
So 3 minutes later, Jess is at the edge of the cove, like at the Cape.
She's about to die.
The car stops. The van driver turns off the remote, and the van drives away.
Yeah. It really could have just killed her.
Yeah, it could have.
But
wait. What? We're back at the station.
Why?
And Amos finds plans for a remote control device that has Daniel's name all over it in the trunk.
But that can't be. Daniel is friends with Jessica, and he almost killed her.
Yeah, I don't know. So I was just thinking, why would he leave his plans in the what? It's an obvious setup. There's nothing more set up than this.
It's very clearly a setup.
Yeah, especially since these are probably Xerox copies for back in the day, and so they're faded. So we're at Daniel's, and he's looking for the plans, and Daniel's like, "Oh, here they are." Oh no, they match the plans that Amos has, so he has to take Daniel in.
It's a travesty of justice.
Then there's a side, and Tony, we find out that Tony told Leslie about the farm because she wasn't there that night.
Oh, that's right.
She was still in Portland. So, Amos takes him in.
Oh, no. They can't put Daniel in jail.
Yeah, they can. So, Leslie then shows up later on that evening.
What does she want?
Oh, she's just like, oh, what's going on? And then later on this evening, we find out that Leslie has opinions.
Finally? It's only been 3/4 of an episode.
Hasn't Daniel been acting weird? Shouldn't we get him examined, his head examined, because he's been acting so weird? Oh my goodness, shouldn't we just do that so we can take his money?
Wait, did she say to take the money part?
No, she didn't. I'm just throwing that in
okay.
there for.
It sounded realistic.
I need a sip of water for that.
H2O in your HOLE.
God, my Courtney Love does not need any water, thank you. So I would like to interject something. I read the Spin magazine. I looked at their top 100 like influential songs
Lord.
of the 90s.
I've heard more people talking after I shared that stupid list.
Girl, I just want to say I can understand, you know, actually, no, I can't. Sarah McLachlan and, Criminal.
Fiona Apple.
Two of the most influential albums, Surfacing and Criminal, or whatever title, were two of the most influential albums of the 90s, right? They were loved by critics. Both of them. They weren't schlocky. I mean, they were schlocky. In retrospect, they're a little schlocky. Well, Surfacing is. But they were loved by critics, right?
Uh-huh.
And then you've got Sleater Kinney making that list. Ugh. Do you have any defense of that?
I'm actually a Sleater Kinney fan.
But are you saying it is more influential in the world of music than Tidal or Surfacing? Surfacing created Lilith Fair. Just put it that way. Like, without Surfacing, there is no Lilith Fair. There is no Lilith Rock that exists past that.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying it's literally like just the list.
Yeah, it's a wrong list.
It's a list from a magazine that doesn't even exist in physical form anymore. Let's be very clear here. If your magazine was at one time physical and is now digital only, do we have that much respect for it?
Yeah, have you watched Encanto yet? So there's that. Have you seen Coco at least?
Yeah, I've saw Coco.
Okay. What about that other one? The one that came before Coco that's better.
Which one came before Coco?
The Del Toro one. Oh God.
There was a Del Toro animated movie?
Not a Del Toro. No, was it? Hold on here. Book of Love, Book of Life.
Oh, I don't know what that is.
Book of Life. The Book of Life, 2014 film.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Director. Oh, sorry. Gutierrez is the director. I think that Del Toro just paid money for it. It's got you really don't know this one? You can't see that at all, can you?
Yeah, I can see it.
It's got Selma Hayek and
that looks uncomfortably like the other movie.
Yeah, like the plot's pretty much the same, and Coco stole it.
What?
Yeah.
That's a little weird.
Yeah, I mean, but they are both good standalone movies. Like, they're just enough different.
Okay.
To be. They're just enough different.
Like, I mean, that's fine. When you showed me that pictures, now I was like, is that the prequel to Coco about the guy? Like, oh, okay. That would. I mean,
I highly suggest watching it.
Okay, I have to watch Encanto first, though.
Yes, please do. About the family matter.
So we can talk about it.
Yes, when are you gonna watch it this week? Maybe
I will watch it before Sunday.
Okay.
I'm saying that as a declaration, not a promise.
Dear listeners, you just heard Maim promise in the 59th minute of this. God, how many more pages we got? Good, not as many as I thought. In the 59th minute of this podcast that she's going to watch Encanto. Okay.
Tune in to Baking Sugar next week to hear us talk about it.
So Katie and Jess are walking,
Mm-hmm.
and we find that Woodley and Merrill own 50% of the company.
Who
Now
owns
that
the other
Merrill-
50%?
Now that Merrill's dead, they each own 50%. Now that
Okay.
Merrill's dead, Woodley owns 100%.
Whoa, not hundo.
And that company was facing some financial difficulty, even with this huge new contract they got.
Oh, that seems very
Yeah.
that's not good. That's not good at all.
Now we're at the jail. Daniel's very nervous.
Why?
Maybe he's a schizoid.
Maybe I'm a schizoid.
We find out that Dan was actually in a sanitarium. A sanitarium.
That's what they
Like
used to
it's-
call them.
Not in the 1800s.
Well, we don't know how old he is. Sorry.
Dear listeners, Leslie did it. This has been You Slay Me.
I mean, think about it. If it was like 1985, this guy was 100 years old.
He's not 100 years old.
I'm just saying, like, devil's advocate here. He could technically have been in a sanitarium when he was 5.
Oh, God. So it's a little bit later.
Yes.
And Jess is driving up or walking up that same hill. Sidewalks. Why are there no sidewalks?
Because they don't do sidewalks in Cabot Cove. Get with the program, you southerner.
Protestants put in some sidewalks. So Jess has a flat tire, which she doesn't, because you
Yes.
can see the tire's fully inflated. And Tony picks her up.
Hi, Tony.
Tony's going to have him assessed. He's going to have Dan assessed
Yeah.
because he thinks it will help in the case in case he
Yeah.
gets indicted.
Just in
Right.
case. Which made sense. That was logical.
Yeah. We find out that the gas gauge, and dear listeners, something that happened back in the 80s, the gas gauge just got screwed up sometimes,
Yes.
and he had to get gas to find out, to fill up, because Leslie's been going to Portland a lot. And so he wanted to make sure that he had enough gas to get where he needed to go, even though it's only a mile away. So you find out that Daniel's patents are going to the University of Maine.
Oh, that's
Right.
lovely. That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the gas will be $7.08, sir.
Oh, that's reasonable.
So Jess gets something in her eye, quotation marks, and looks at the rental agreement for the car and sees the mileage for when they rented the car.
Mm-hmm. Something's up with that.
Something's up with that. And then we go back to the lab, and Daniel turns off his Hoovian stuff and gets ready to leave to be assessed.
It's like it's a very sad moment. He's like,
Was
goodbye, bleepy
what is the-
machine.
Yeah, that satellite thing that's just going around for no reason.
Goodbye, bird alert. Goodbye, squirrel keepers. I'll miss you all.
So now we're at the grocery store, and there's this woman with an accent.
Man, she was great.
It was. I think she was trying to do a Maine accent, but she
I think
sounded Southern to me.
Well, honey, that's what you got. Like, we're not talking about the best actors in the world here. We're talking about character actors.
There's some great character actors.
There are some great character actors in the 80s.
None
but
of them are in this show.
They're basically like casting call for Cabot Cove residents. What's their
I'm
accent?
free.
Do you have to have a Maine accent? Nope.
Do you have to have any acting talent?
Nope.
Do you even need a face shot? Like,
No, not
okay.
at all. No. it
Are
could
you
be-
free from the hours of 9 a.m. till 11 a.m.?
Yes, I have to leave though for Parcheesi.
Done. Done. So Ethan's playing an arcade game.
Yeah. Spy Hunter. He's playing Spy Hunter.
It's fine. I loved that game back when I was
Yeah.
younger. And
I squealed with delight. I was like, "Oh my god!"
I couldn't remember the name of the game. Thank you for reminding me.
Sure.
And Jessica's like, well, the van is what controls the car.
What?
And I mean, if you didn't get that by now, like, it was following her, stopped, and then left. Like, then Jess plays the game, and Ethan's like, you need to slow down, and light bulb, Jessica understands.
Deus ex machina.
Oh my god. So we're back at the baseball diamond.
Yes.
And the sheriff is recreating the accident.
Oh, so everybody's here.
Everybody's here, including Tony and Leslie, and then the van shows up, that character actor. Mr. Woodley's there, and then you know who else shows up?
Who?
The station wagon.
Oh my gosh. It's like a reunion.
It is. The station wagon's moving a little bit faster this time, just a wee bit faster.
Oh, man.
And Mr. Woodley's running. He's going, Leslie, stop it. And Leslie runs to the van and opens up the van and like looks, and there's no remote control.
Oh no.
And then Jessica's like, Ethan, you can stop it now.
So
Ethan
casually.
turns it off. And like, Jessica goes up to Leslie's like, Leslie, why'd you run this car? I don't know. I just thought it could go faster and go to get him real fast. That's what I was trying. I was trying to save him. And then like, she's like, Woodley's like, Leslie, why didn't you do anything? Leslie, don't tell them anything. I'm not going down for you. He made me do it all. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, God. So now we're back at Daniel's. And, like, Tony's not there. He must have gone back to
Can you
Boston,
blame him?
'cause
Can you blame him?
No, I'd be tired of this shit, too.
He got taken advantage of.
Yep.
He got
So
romanced by a woman who did not actually had no intention of marrying him.
We found out that Woodley won the company. And the way he was going to do it was he was going to kill Meryl, get the other half. Leslie was going to have Daniel committed so that Tony would control the estate. Yep. She would control the patents by marriage, and they could use the patents for the security screen. Woo! This thing that doesn't work, apparently.
So does that mean that Leslie was probably going to kill Tony?
No.
Oh.
Because my guess is that without a straight heir, those patents would have gone to the University of Maine.
But no, after marrying him.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
Because that seems like almost like a loose end, right? Because Tony can always say no.
Girl, it's a Murder, She Wrote episode. There's lots of loose ends sometimes.
Sorry. We're tripping over the loose ends. Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry.
Well, Daniel, in the last part of the scene, Daniel says he doesn't want to leave Cabot Cove, but he invites Katie to stay with him.
Bow chicka bow wow, geriatric love. I'm gonna put some polydent on that dick. Make my teeth stick with my polydent love. Yeah.
Do 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 do.
Oh my gosh.
Oh. We did it, man.
We did.
We did it.
We did.
That was my Kamala impersonation.
That's too accurate, actually. Unfortunately.
Oh God. Yeah. So who do you think that? I don't think Jess won't have sex with anybody in this episode. Do you?
There was no sexual tension for Jessica because we were too focused on the other geriatric love.
That's exactly right.
You know, we didn't want
Maybe
to take
she
away from that.
actually she probably wanted to get with Katie.
No, because Katie's like, Jessica, blah blah blah. Like, oh no. She had that. Like, you could tell that Katie had been a Benson and Hedges lady for a long time.
Not a Benson and Hedges lady, girl. I have a coworker who smokes. Like, yes, we're still allowed to smoke at work. God, they were gonna stop that until a European, specifically Spanish company bought ours. They're like
absolutely not.
Yeah, the Spaniards all smoke, but she smokes like Virginia Slims ultra thin 150s. So
yes,
the tiny,
yes.
really thin
girl.
And she's Ukrainian. Oh. She's...
Oh my God, my heart is rich now knowing that person exists in life.
Oh yeah.
When I worked at the gas station, I can tell you right now, my favorite customers were the ladies that smoked 120s and above. They were always a hoot. Always.
So back when I used to smoke, I tried one of those cigarettes once just to see. They were so hard to like get anything out of, like to actually, once you got the burning, to actually take a puff, you like, oh my God. Ugh.
Well, I'm glad that you don't smoke anymore.
I know, it's better for my health. Maim, why don't you? I mean, it is.
I mean, technically it is. That wasn't a joke.
No. I mean, and it's been a long enough time that it's been 20 plus years now. So my lungs should have prepared themselves by now. Yeah, it takes interesting thing. Your liver can repair itself very quickly.
Oh.
Your lungs take like 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Mine are already kind of screwed. So when did they repair the asthma? How long does that take? Because it's been 42 years. Just saying.
I'll wait for another 40 or so. Anyway, which is about the time that we'll be done with You Slay Me, our Murder, She Wrote podcast.
True, actually, our 80th anniversary. It'll be time. Why
don't you tell these people who you are and where they can find you?
Okay, sure. Yeah. So thanks for listening to the podcast. I'm Auntie Maim, your favorite relation. If you want to follow me on social media, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at auntie.maim. That's MAIM, like murderous intentions. You can follow me on Twitter at Maim Ministry. And also, if you are on vacation in South Florida, you can meet me in real life. Every Thursday night, I host amazing colossal karaoke in Miami Beach at a little bar called Kill Your Idol. And every other week, I do improv comedy at Villain Theater in Miami. What about you, Mims?
I'm the Divine Miss Mims, and I am spent. You can find me on Twitter at the Divine Miss Mims. You can find this podcast on Twitter at You Slay Me Pod. We have a Patreon. You Slay Me. We've also got a PayPal link in our information for this podcast. Maim and I are coming up with some new and more interesting things as well. Like, I've been toying around with the idea of a live show at some point this year, early next year, whenever COVID is back down to levels in Florida where I feel safe to go there. Like,
I'm trying to figure out a joke for that.
No, it's fine. There aren't any. But yeah, say goodnight, Maim.
Good night, Maim.
Bye, y'all.